Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran wa Durrah, the jewels of the Quran in spares. Still reading from Surah Shu'ara and almost there at the end of the surah where the selection, Imam Al-Ghazali's selection, is about really the end of the surah, about poetry, about the use of poetry, about the poets, and it does need explanation. But before that, we in the very last session we have dealt with the story of the people of Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam, and there is there of course there's a highlight of their belief. They believed in a thicket, where they believed in they worshipped a certain either tree or trees, and their problem was also the practical problem that they would not give full measure and cause loss, of course, to others. And he ordered them to desist and to weigh with an even balance. At any rate, we have reached the end of that story. Well, the divine punishment, of course, because they challenged him. They wanted really parts of the sky to fall on them, and that's exactly what happened. It's not that really pieces of reinforced concrete, but a cloud. They thought that it would provide them some relief from the heat that they have suffered from, and that cloud brought punishment on them. Thereafter, we practically were have reached verse 192, let's say. Now there is a reference to the Qur'an that it is certainly a revelation from the Lord of all worlds, which is the trustworthy spirit, meaning Ruh al-Amin. This is the archangel Gabriel alayhi salam brought it down into the heart of your heart, basically the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that you may be one of the warners in a clear Arabic tongue. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإنه لتنزيل رب العالمين نزل به الروح الأمين على قلبك لتكون من المنذرين بلسان عربي مبين. So what do we have here? The Quran is in a clear Arabic tongue. One might this is the last phase of revelation. It's when two things here: when humanity was ready for the final revelation, that's exactly what happened. The second part is that it's in Arabic, it's in a clear Arabic. And what if one asks the question, and people do ask the question, why not another language? And it's something that I have mentioned in the past. I don't remember even how long ago, but let's basically take Malay as an example. Could it have been in Malay? I did hear in a lecture when I was in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, teaching at the International Islamic University. And I think it's when I was at the STAC, the International Institute for Islamic Thought and Civilization, which was founded by Sayyid Muhammad Naqib al-Attas. Jazallah khairan, a true intellectual. At any rate, so there was a Malay, a professor of Malay, who said that the original Malay language, the original words in the Malay language were almost like a handful. Maybe it was simply an exaggeration, but anybody who's familiar with Malay, there's no plural. For example, to have plural, you need to mention the word twice to create the sense of plural. So let's say in English, student becomes students. In Malay, it'll sound something like this: student. Very simple language. And he said that other than these original words, the rest is borrowed. And there are literally very few words to the degree. It's not that it's devoid, it's a language. As I said, it was simply an exaggeration, but he wanted to highlight the how much was really borrowed from other languages, including from Arabic. You'll find the same word in Malay, covering uh, so many meanings. It's the context that would help. Okay, could it have been English? Could it have been French? If it's French, you talk about uh, a couple of hundred thousand words, 150,000 original words. To say the word number 80, to say 90, for example, uh, in uh, in French, you would say 4 20s 10, 90, 4 20s, which is 80, D's another 10, that will make it 90. Now, I'm not sure whether this is the richest language, so excuse my French, literally. Arabic has a little bit more than 12 million words. Um, Iraqi professor enumerated 12,300,000 plus. 12,300,000 plus. It's very rich, extremely rich. Lion has few hundred words in Arabic. Now, it will basically that it's very rich. Let's put it this way, it's extremely rich, and it's basically people who were well versed in the language. So the it was sent down in Arabic, in clear Arabic, to people who knew Arabic. That's the previous signs, if you will, miracles that were sent with the along with the prophets. They don't exist anymore. In fact, they did not exist after they have been performed. The flood of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam is not there. It took place and that's it. The ark, the flood. Though the Quran says, for example, that the ark itself was preserved as a sign for future generations. The Well, we believe in what in the divine decree that the fire would not hurt Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, but it's not here. It's not something that we could witness. We believe that Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Prophet Moses, split the sea. Um, that his staff did become a snake. That his staff did swallow the magic of the Egyptian magicians. We believe that his hand, when he removed it from his sleeve, it was white. We believe that Jesus Christ, peace upon him, performed miracles, quickening the dead, forming the shape of bears from clay and breathing into them, always by leave of God. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is omnipotent. And he allowed these, healing the leopard, healing the sick, but these miracles are not with us. The miracle of the Quran is definitely here between, it is, unfortunately, most of us, the Arabs, we know enough to watch the 8 o'clock TV news. We understand. We know a little bit more, of course. But what I'm saying, when you talk about the 12 million words, that's basically a big challenge. There was once a gathering at the Palestinian Academy for the Study of International Affairs, PASIA, in East Jerusalem. And one of the participants, a Palestinian um, priest, he said the Quran has grammatical mistakes. You might find some people who try to do, they don't understand the language. That's one thing. I did ask Professor Ibrahim Al-Alam, who's a Palestinian Christian, who taught at Bethlehem University for a long time, and I asked him about this statement. I told him. He said it is the Quran. People should know that Professor Ibrahim Al-Alam used the Quran to teach Arabic. Again, he was a Christian, and he said the Bible, meaning the Bible, the translation of the Bible into Arabic, he said it has many grammatical mistakes, but no mistakes in the Quran. بلسان عربي مبين. Okay, so Arabic can convey messages. In fact, people, all the sciences were written in pure Arabic. It's only in modern times that we have started using foreign languages, especially English in particular, as the language of science. And to their credit, in Syria, they continued to use pure Arabic in sciences. Not that they were against learning other languages, but the idea is that is it sufficient? Yes, but the contribution, the production of knowledge, of scientific knowledge, including scientific knowledge, in Arabic, quantitatively at least, is not that much. So it's our responsibility, anyhow. Not only that, it was revealed in a clear Arabic tongue, and that it has indeed been foretold in the scriptures of those before. وَإِنَّهُ لَفِي زُبُرِ الْأَوَّلِينَ. It has been mentioned before. One can say that the Zubur al-Awwalin, Zabur, this is talk about the books. كل شيء فعلوه في الزبر, that's the scriptures, the book where the angels record things. So it is really, but when you talk about it was foretold in previous revelations. For example, Jesus Christ was upon him. Mentioning that it's a prophesying about the and bring the good omen that there will be a messenger who will come after him, whose name is Ahmad. وبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد. In fact, many, of course, in general, Christians do not accept this. They deny that it existed. Well, the first part of the verse is that وإذ قال عيسى بن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة. And we have it in the Gospels, despite the Gospels suffering from vagaries of transmission. The Quran speaks about one original Gospel. We have 4 Gospels chosen from a pool of many, where at any rate, Jesus Christ told him that he was there to uphold the law of Moses. And we know very well that whether because of Paul's influence or whatever, the law was practically dropped. So it's not only the second part of this verse that they have denied, but also they have dropped the implementing the law. So it became like a religion of spirituality where the law is no more. And subhanallah, They claim that the Quran was taken, copied, that the stories there were picked from previous revelations. Not even one single story is 100%, identical to that of the biblical narrative. Noah, there are differences. Lut alayhi salam, there are differences. Ibrahim alayhi salam, there are differences. Whatever the story is, Dawood alayhi salam, there are differences. There are serious differences in all of them. Jesus Christ, this is the Old Testament. We speak about liberally, we say this is the Torah. The Quran has the upper hand whenever we have differences, and we do have differences. Had there been copying, then we should have at least one story that is, exactly. So the Quran does correct the previous stories, and the Quran, also it is said that the scholars of the children of Israel, they also attested for what they know, for the attributes of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he will be sent, about his community, and some of those scholars, from those rabbis, became Muslim. For example, Abdullah bin Salam, that's one of them, and they will follow the الرسول الذين يتبعون الرسول النبي الأمي. الأمي, of course, the immediate meaning is that we talk about illiterate in the sense of not knowing how to read or write, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's very important. But also in general, the plural of الأميين, speak in the genitive, الأميين, that is almost the equivalent of the word goy, Gentile, and he was rejected because of that. Still, many important rabbis became Muslim. They have done this in the past, and some have done this today. We do have priests, and we do have rabbis who became Muslim. I've known myself Christian priests from different denominations, if you will, Catholic, Protestant, who became Muslim. We don't have any Muslim scholar. I'm not aware of any Muslim scholar who became Jew or Christian. So those who are knowledgeable, they are objective, they will attest to the truth, validity, and some of them do, without becoming Muslim. They will simply say it is true. They will say that they will accept the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad, but for the Arabs, not for themselves. أولم يكن لهم آية أن يعلموا علماء بني إسرائيل? Was it not sufficient proof for the deniers that it has been recognized by the knowledgeable among the children of Israel? Had we revealed it to a non-Arab, who would then recite it to the deniers, of course in fluent Arabic, still they would not have believed in it. ولو نزلناه على بعض الأعجمين. Ajami is basically a non-Arab. فقرأه عليهم ما كانوا به مؤمنين. كذلك سلكناه في قلوب المجرمين. This is how we allow denial to steep in the hearts of the wicked. لا يؤمن به حتى يروا العذاب الأليم. They will not believe in it until they see the painful punishment. فيأتيهم بغتة وهم لا يشعرون, which will take them by surprise when they least expect it. فيقول هل نحن منظرون. Then they will cry. They will say, they will cry, they will, can we be allowed more time? Others ask for to return. They ask. There is no return, and there is no more time. أفبعذابنا يستعجلون. Do they really seek to hasten our torment? أفرأيت إن متعناهم سنين ثم جاءهم ما كانوا يوعدون ما أغنى عنهم ما كانوا يمتعون. Imagine telling the Prophet ﷺ, if we allow them enjoyment for years extra, then there came to them what they had been threatened with. Would that enjoyment be of any benefit to them at all? We never destroyed society without warners. وما أهلكنا من قرية إلا لها منذرون ذكرى وما كنا ظالمون. To remind them, for we would never be wrong. We would never wrong anyone. Now, وما تنزلت به الشياطين. It was not the devils who brought this Qur'an down. Remember this, because once we reach the poets, then we talk about what the devils do in relationship to poetry or specific kind of poetry. So وما تنزل به الشياطين, remember this. There'll be a closure. وما ينبغي لهم وما يستطيعون. It is not for them to do so, nor can they. إنهم عن السمع لمعزولون, for they are strictly barred from even overhearing it. فلا تدع مع الله إلها آخر فتكون من المعذبين. So do not ever call upon other God besides Allah, or you will be one of the punished. وأنذر عشيرتك الأقربين, and warn all, starting with your closest relatives, of course. واخفض جناحك لمن تبعك المؤمنين. وأنذر عشيرتك الأقربين. Literally the first person, it was Lady Khadija who accepted Islam. The first youngster, it was Ali bin Abi Talib who accepted Islam. So you begin with the closest to you, the closest relative. He did. His own uncles, they were split. Some of them became believers and some of them were arch enemies. His own cousins, maybe in the context of poetry, one of them was kind of an arch enemy and then became Muslim, subhanAllah, and he was, I think he was a poet too. But the idea of أنذر عشيرتك الأقربين, that's exactly what he did. And if one follows the family tree, you will find that at a certain generation, that the Prophet ﷺ will still meet with Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, of course Ali, that's obvious, his immediate cousin, son-in-law. That they would meet on the family tree, a few generations, and they will still meet. In fact, we all meet. If you just simply go back, if we could trace back our family trees all the way to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, that's exactly where we meet. We could meet with just simply end up on the, like with the people who were on the ark with Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, of course, but that they would go still to Adam. كلكم لآدم. كلكم, all of you are descendants of Adam. وآدم من تراب. Adam is from clay, from earth. Don't see yourself there's any racism, any exceptionalism. They doesn't that is not accepted. It will be rejected in Islam. The community is a community of faithful. It's not race, it's not ethnicity. Though the Quran describes positively the colors and the languages, which is a beautiful thing. Inshallah, we'll deal with that at one point. But if they disobey you, say, I am certainly free of what you do. Free, like distancing, like to distance himself from what they do. I'm innocent of what you do. So he disavows basically those people. فَإِنْ عَصَوْكَ فَقُلْ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ. Put your trust in the Almighty, most merciful, الذي يراك حين تقوم, who sees you when you rise for prayer at night, وتقلبك في الساجدين, as well as your movements in prayer along with fellow worshippers. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. He alone indeed, the all-hearing, all-knowing. Now we do have, we said, just remember about the devils not bringing the they have nothing to do with the Quran. What do they do? Shall I inform you of whom the devils actually descend upon? تنزل على كل أفاك أثيم. They descend upon every sinful liar. يلقون السمع وأكثرهم كاذبون. Who gives an attentive ear to half-truths, mostly passing on sheer lies. They mix. It could be the fortune tellers who listen to satanic whispers, adding more lies as they pass on the information to people. They mix things, and I'm convinced that those fortune tellers, when people go to them, they might know one true thing, but they will mix it with another 99 parts lies, and they will definitely cause problems with to people. This person did this to you, and this, so they would, and with that will destroy also the social fabric. It destroys families. It destroys, and it's anti-Islamic. It's definitely chips at one's faith if they go and they believe in those soothsayers, the fortune tellers. And now we have mention of the poets. وَالشُّعَرَاءُ يَتَّبِعُهُمُ الْغَاوُونَ. As for poets, they are followed merely by deviants. وَأَنَّهُمْ يَقُولُونَ مَا لَا يَفْعَلُونَ, only saying what they never do. They, of course, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّهُمْ فِي كُلِّ وَادٍ يَهِيمُونَ. Do you not see how they rant in every field? Literally, they just in every valley. They roam aimlessly, only saying what they never do. وأنهم يقولون ما لا يفعلون. The very last verse. الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وذكروا الله كثيرا وما انتصروا من بعد ما ظلموا وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. We do have the position vis-a-vis poetry. Poetry is two types primarily. I mean, we're not talking about the meter. We don't talk about the characteristics of Arabic poetry. We don't talk about the old classical poetry versus modern poetry, freestyle, where things do not rhyme. There is no meter. And those who wrote poetry in colloquial language. No, it's about the content. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ مِنَ الشَّعْرِ لَحِكْمَةً. Poetry could be, part of it is wisdom. And we know that the Prophet ﷺ listened to more than one poet, including Hassan bin Thabit, the companion, radiallahu anhu. And it is Hassan bin Thabit whom the Prophet ﷺ asked him to respond to those who use poetry against the Prophet ﷺ. أو the كفار the um, اهجم هاجم وروح القدس معك أو uh, so there are you know prophetic traditions about poetry. So two types primarily are that the content is healthy, is good, is wholesome, is moral, or the other way around. Uh, it could be poetry that advocates immorality. Uh, that's also so if the message is really unacceptable by by Islam, whether it's prose or uh, whether it's poetry or simply prose, the idea is that it's the content. And this is how we should understand the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, hadith narrated by Bukhari, لأن يمتلئ جوف رجل قيحا يريه خير له من أن يمتلئ شعرا. So that for someone to have his, uh, internally to be full with pus is better than to be full to or filled with poetry. But here poetry means it's the wrong part, because there's poetry that praises the Prophet ﷺ. By poetry, the wrong poetry is when it's full with lies, when calls for wrong things. But any poetry that has wisdom, that defends Islam, it defends, just like simply upholds Islamic morals, uh, even when it's really. I remember there was a poem really. Um, it reflects basically a human touch, um, modern Arabic poetry coming from Egypt, I believe, uh, identifying with the victims of an earthquake that took place in Sicily, I believe. This is why I said, most of this literature was not translated and they don't know about this. So there's the wrong image about Islam and Muslims and Arabs and Palestinians and what have you. Yes, there were companions um, who they were poets, and uh, once this verse was revealed, these verses, they were worried about themselves. But the Prophet ﷺ, of course, the revelation here assured them, you have not all poets are on the same page. There are those prophets who they say the right thing and they do the right thing and they are believers and they will be successful, inshallah. The in one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that the believer struggles or performs jihad with his sword and also his tongue. And he said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ لَكَأَنَّمَا تَرَوْنَ نَضْحَ النَّبْلِ. Like the poetry is almost like spears, which of course today we understand that the media plays a very important role in defending Islam, in defending in exposing really the wrongdoings of the despots, the colonial powers, and whether it is in poetry or not. So Alhamdulillah, we have reached the end of Surah Shu'ara, and until the next session, inshallah, we will say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallah wa hamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.